Welcome everyone, I'm Yvonne Davis. I'm an astrologer and I want to welcome you to my channel where I do general astrology and political astrology. So if you're watching my general video, I hope that you'll check out my political videos and vice versa. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, and if you like the video, please click like. And if you have anything you want to say, feel free to put them in the comment boxes. I really love to hear what you guys have to say about my videos. So today I'm doing a general reading for the full moon, and this will be on June 17th. It's a full moon in Sagittarius. So, and I'm calling this a preview of coming attractions, which you'll understand as I go through the videos. But real quick, I just want to let you know that I'm offering a summer special on my astrology readings. They will be discounted by 40%. So my normal rate is $150, and I'm discounting by 40% to $90. So that's $90 an hour, and that will last throughout the summer. And I just want to mention that the reason why I'm doing this is because I am going to be spending part of the summer at a secluded mountain cabin so that I can do a writer's retreat and work on revising some novels that I've written. Those of you who've been with me for a while know that I have been working on a Master of Fine Arts degree in creative writing, and I did have an agent interested in one of my novels, which I sent off, but takes a long time to hear back. And so I'm going to be working on a couple of other novels that I've written and just get those ready to go. So while I'm at the cabin, I will have no phone or internet or television or anything like that. So I won't have a way to, I won't be able to respond immediately to requests for readings. So that's why I want to give you a discount. It's like a reward for being patient. So if you decide you do want a reading, you can sign up on my website. I'll show you the page real quick. This is my astrology page. And right now I have the regular hour long at 150 and half hour at 75. But when this video goes live, there will also be a button for my summer special at $90. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else I need to say about that. Yes, one other thing I want to say is if you don't want to immediately sign up for a reading, because like I said, it may be a few days for me to respond and get your appointment for you, you can email me at admin@yvonnedavis.com. And if you need to, just go to the About page on YouTube, and my email address will be there. So I think that pretty much covers all those little items that I wanted to tell you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the first chart that I want to show you. And this one, I'm actually going to start with the Gemini new moon on June 3rd, because there's something here that is still playing itself out with the coming full moon in Sagittarius, and that's this opposition of Jupiter to Mercury and then square to Neptune. And as I mentioned in my new moon video, which I will also put a link below, and those of you who watch my general astrology videos, I'm sure that you will want to see what's in that video. But those of you who watch my political videos, I think you will also find that very interesting, because I'm talking about the coming Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, and the last time that happened in 1517. And I think you would want to see how history may be repeating itself. I was very proud of that video. So I hope that more of you will check that out. I'll put the link below. And so to look at this, what I want you to see is with this Jupiter opposition to Mercury and square to Neptune, what can happen is this is all about issues of communication and belief. Jupiter rules belief, but also on its shadow side, it rules righteousness. And Mercury rules thought and communication. And Neptune can bring issues of lies, deceit, deception, delusion. So this T-square that it's forming, that's what this is when you have this opposition and square, that's called a T-square. That's bringing a lot of questions around what is true. And some people are so committed to what they believe in, they're so righteous that they can't actually see the truth. They are easily deceived by this Neptune influence. So, and I think that's what's happening on the national level is we need to get to the truth of what really happened. Not just the narrative, but the actual facts. And so I just wanted to start with this, and also with Mars here at 11 degrees of Cancer, because I'm going to take you all the way through to the full moon in July, because there's something going on here that is, it's sort of an ongoing story, and all of these charts are linked together. So Mars will have hit that eclipse point on July 2nd. So just keep that in mind, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and shift over to the full moon chart that I wanted to show you. Okay, so this is a Gemini Sagittarian full moon on June 17th, and that's at 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. So here you can see there's the sun, and opposite is the moon. That's the full moon. Now, on this day, it's possible that we may get some benefit from the Jupiter conjunction, because Jupiter is a benefic. And on the East Coast, we also have Venus conjunct the ascendant, and Venus is the second benefic. So there is a possibility that these benefics can bring something good with this full moon. But I think ultimately it's going to be overshadowed by the opposition of the North Node, Mercury, and Mars conjunct opposite the Saturn and the South Node, which is going to be here at 17 degrees 39 minutes, and Pluto. And so I'm going to talk about that opposition. But what I'm going to do is, rather than look at the full moon on June 17th, I'm going to take you forward by 2 days to the 19th. So let me go ahead and pull up that chart. I'm calling this the June full moon intensity because it's only 2 days later, and so it's still a full moon. And what happens is that after it leaves Sagittarius, it moves into Capricorn, and it will conjoin the South Node, and it will conjoin Saturn, and it will oppose Mars and Mercury, and conjoin Pluto. So this is why I'm calling it a preview of coming attractions, because this is a reflection of what we will see a month later on July 16th. But it will be even more intense. So this is a preview of coming attractions. So the first thing I want to talk about is we still have this T-square here. Even though Mercury has moved into the sign of Cancer, now Venus is taking its place opposite Jupiter and squaring Neptune. So that's still in effect. So the shadow side of this is that Neptune is bringing lies, deceit, deception, and also and delusion, and just things that are hidden, okay? Just things that we don't know. And with Jupiter, whose shadow side is righteousness, opposite Venus, there's some discord. There's definitely need for integration, but this is going to be experienced as discord, and it's all about what's true. And there's an intention to deceive with the shadow side of Neptune, and a reluctance to open one's mind to the full picture because of the righteousness of Jupiter. So this is going to be, this is going to reflect the problem of all of these, the Mars, Mercury, North Node, conjunction, opposite Saturn, South Node, Pluto, and full moon, okay? That will be exact on June 19th. This is about hitting a brick wall. And so what happens is on this side of the chart, with the Mars and Mercury and North Node conjunct in Cancer, Mars is going to be very angry. So Cancer is emotion. Mars is the warrior. Mars is very fiery. Mars is the emotion of anger. It can help you take action, but sometimes, you know, if we're coming from reactivity and we're feeling really angry, sometimes we can't necessarily think clearly. And so when you've got it in a sign of emotion, conjunct Mercury, it is definitely going to be intensifying our thoughts and feelings, and it'll be expressed through the emotion of anger. Sometimes that's not necessarily a problem. I mean, you know, anger is just an emotion. It's just an energy. And it also does cause us to take action, which can be a good thing. The problem is this opposition to Saturn, Pluto, and the full moon, because Saturn is like hitting a brick wall. And with Pluto, there's going to be a power struggle, okay? And with the full moon conjunct Pluto, there's this feeling of all or nothing. So if you find this happening in your own life, what you want to do is just recognize it. If you can bring consciousness to this experience in your life, you have a chance for integration and transformation, okay? So if you notice yourself getting angry, what you want to do is touch in with your deepest authenticity. That means touching in with your truth and your values. And I'm not talking about the righteousness of Jupiter when I say your truth and your authenticity. Jupiter in its righteousness is insisting that the world out there is making your life hell, okay? And to some degree that may be true. It may be a person in your life, you know, a relationship. It may be at work, maybe it's your boss or a coworker, or maybe it's some institution, maybe it's the law. You know, it could be anything external to you that is some kind of external authority or a relationship. Combined with Pluto, it's going to be a power struggle. And with a full moon, you're just going to reach this point of all or nothing. And you're going to make a decision about something that you want to change. You won't necessarily be able to change it at that moment. Maybe you will, or at least release some of the pressure. Try to step back, try to be a little bit more patient, and bring some meditation into a meditative energy, a contemplative energy into this experience that you're having. If you're able to do that, because ultimately I see this as a preview of coming attractions, because it so clearly reflects what we will see a month later when we reach the full moon eclipse. And full moon eclipse definitely brings change. Eclipses bring change. New moons can bring new things. Full moons usually bring some kind of ending or culmination, or, you know, astrologers often say it will eclipse something out of your life, but it usually brings a change that is somewhat fated, somewhat karmic. It's meant to change. And that's what the eclipses are for, is to bring that change about. And so, so that's why I say, you know, with this full moon in June, take the time when this situation comes up, really try to take the time to think about how you want to change your life, so that you're not as reactionary as this Mars wants you to be, so that you don't get caught up in a power struggle that can't go anywhere. You're just going to hit a brick wall. If you can step back and be patient and much more contemplative, you will have the opportunity to connect with your deepest authenticity and your deepest values and find out what steps you would like to take to bring about change. And then you'll have basically about a month before the full moon eclipse in order to bring that about. So let me go really quickly and show you the eclipses of July. Obviously, I will do another video for both the new moon and full moon in July, but I'm just going to give you a preview of coming attractions, which this full moon is. All right, let's see here. Okay, so that's going to be the Cancer new moon eclipse. All right, so let's see here. Bring this more fully into the screen. Okay, so the first thing I want to point out is that the new moon eclipse is at 10 degrees 38 minutes of Cancer. Again, Cancer is a sign of emotion and relationships and home. It's the things we value. And so there's going to be something about that that's really going to hit home. You know, it's really going to hit your heart, and you're just going to need to make a decision about what direction you want to move in. And but there's still going to be some very trying aspects. One, again, is this Jupiter square Neptune is continuing and will be going on for quite a while. But also now we've got Mars conjunct Mercury in Leo, which is a fire sign, squaring Uranus. Uranus brings shocks and surprises. It brings things out of the blue, things we never expected. And when it's squaring Mars and Mercury, Mars is the fiery, angry warrior, and Mercury is thought and communication. So what I see happening with the square is that feeling of anger is continuing, and it's getting fired up. And now it's squaring Uranus, which means something comes out of the blue, something shocking that you never expected. Or you may behave in shocking and unexpected ways. You may actually shock yourself. But it could bring things like saying things that you might later regret because you're feeling angry. And so I'm just warning you about this. You know, again, this is the July new moon eclipse, so it won't take effect until we get closer to July. But just keep it in mind, because the June full moon is a preview of coming attractions, and this is what's coming. And again, we've still got this opposition, which will come into play with the full moon eclipse. So I'm going to take you to that chart now. Okay, so this is the Cancer Capricorn full moon in July, on July 16th. And let me bring that more fully onto the screen. Okay, so again, as usual, we've got Jupiter square Neptune. This time, Jupiter is on the ascendant on the East Coast when this full moon is exact. Jupiter, as I said, is a benefic, so sometimes when it's on the ascendant, that can be beneficial. It can also intensify Jupiter. And Jupiter is the magnifier. It expands everything. So although it's a benefic, when it expands things, sometimes it can expand the shadow side, or it can expand malefics that it may be in aspect with. In this case, it's an aspect with Neptune. Neptune isn't generally considered a malefic, except when it's in its shadow side. So with the square I do think that we're seeing more of the shadow of Jupiter, which is righteousness, and the shadow of Neptune, which is deception and delusion, and trying to find out what is true, trying to get all the facts and information. So just think about it that this will be happening on a national level. That's the macrocosm, but also on the personal level. That's the microcosm. So keep that in mind for your own personal life. You may see these issues coming up in June and July. And then again, we still got the square with Mercury and Mars to Uranus. So that aspect will still be in effect. And at this point, Mercury has stationed retrograde. And when a planet stations to turn either direct or retrograde, it actually intensifies that energy. So Mercury takes us back to the past. It has us turning inward, it has us reflecting, it has us reconsidering things from the past. So I think when you see all these charts lined up, I think I brought up, this is a total of 5 charts from the new moon on June 3rd until this full moon on July 16th. And all of these are telling us a story about what is coming. So if you're paying attention early, it gives you an opportunity to think things through, so that when you get to this full moon eclipse, you will hopefully be ready for it, because this is going to bring a change to your life. And I don't necessarily trust the square between Jupiter and Neptune, and I definitely don't trust this square of Mars conjunct Mercury, because that can be very reactionary. People can say things that they don't, that they'll regret later, especially with the square to Uranus. And with Mercury retrograde, which often jumbles up and confuses our communication, oh my goodness, that can be a recipe for disaster. So, you know, and the thing about it is you may be reaching a boiling point, and that's what Mars conjunct Pluto does, is it brings you to a point where it's all or nothing. And when it's also a full moon eclipse, which is 3 times more powerful than a regular full moon, combine that with Pluto and you've reached a breaking point. It's all or nothing. So again, like I said before, you have to take into consideration that it impacts different people in different ways, because some people are more evolved, and that's just the truth. Some people have done a lot of inner work and they're more spiritually evolved, and they can, in a sense, transmit these energies in a way that is not reactionary, because they don't have a lot of wounding, because they've done their inner work. But for people who have a lot of inner woundedness and have trouble communicating their authentic self, may stumble with this full moon eclipse conjunct Pluto. But regardless, just keep in mind, this is going to bring an end to something. Doesn't necessarily mean it's negative. In my own case, this also coincides with, I've mentioned to you that I do have 2 more weeks left on campus. That's the capstone to my master's program. And then we'll have the graduation ceremony. So this full moon eclipse coincides with my completion of my master's degree. So for me, it's something to be celebrating. So that's why I want to be clear. It doesn't necessarily mean it's something negative. But if a person has not done their inner work and has a lot of karma that they're working through, and needs to do more integration and more transformation, then sometimes, you know, this can bring that karma up and a need to look at situations that have reached their breaking point, and you'll need to make a decision, or it will be made for you. That's also what can happen. So like I said, it could be in a relationship, could be at work, could be at home, you know, basically any aspect of your life, because I don't know where it's landing for you in your own personal chart and how it's impacting your own personal natal planets. But I can say that with a sun conjunct the North Node, conjunct Venus, and the vertex, which is fate, across from the Saturn South Node, which would be right here at 17 degrees, 39 minutes, and Pluto and the full moon eclipse. Yeah, it's going to be pretty intense. And with Saturn having again crossed over and made an exact conjunction to the South Node, that's going to be removing something, because that's what South Node does. It removes things. It has us dealing with things from the past that need to be released, okay? And Saturn and the South Node behave in similar ways. They are both, they have limitations. They bring limitations into our life. They remove things from our life. They create a filter, and they cut away things that, in a sense, you know, divine intelligence has decided these things need to be eliminated. That's what both Saturn and the South Node do. So when they're conjunct, that energy is intensified. Then on top of it, we've got a full moon, which is all about completion and endings. So it's a really, really, really powerful energy. And I'd rather it be something that you're ready for, something you're making decisions and planning for, so that it works out in alignment with your authentic self, rather than feeling like a victim of circumstances, feeling like power and authority has forced something on you that you didn't want, because it's going to be an all or nothing energy. And you know, if you need integration, if you've got karma, it's going to bring it up, and that's how it's going to play itself out. So it's up to you. If you want this to work out in your favor, then get really clear on what matters to you and your values and your authentic self, and let go of attachment to outcome, because, you know, a lot of times that's why we end up feeling like a victim, is because we're so attached to a specific outcome. When it doesn't work out the way we want it to, we feel like a victim. And the universe is often telling us that there are certain places where we need to let go. We need to surrender. And I'm talking about a spiritual surrender, and recognizing that what really matters is your spiritual being, not this Maya, you know, this illusion out here. I like to call it a virtual reality game, which is hard sometimes when you're experiencing pain or loss, or there's something, you know, that's bringing up a lot of fear. But ultimately, all of this is an illusion. And when you've done your spiritual work and you've seen that that's true, then you can look back on times in your life where you were terrified, or where you're so deeply hurt, and you realize that you were just so attached to this external form that you didn't realize that the power was inside of you. And that's what the universe is trying to teach us. That's why we're here. This is our spiritual school, to learn these lessons. So I hope that was helpful. Like I said, I'm calling this a preview of coming attractions, because the full moon on June 17th, and then 2 days later on June 19th, is so similar to the full moon eclipse in July, on July 16th, that that's the best way I can describe it. It's a preview of coming attractions. So I'm giving you this information so you can get ready for it. Okay, so again, if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Click like on this video, share with your friends and family and on social media, and feel free to leave comments. I love reading all of your comments. I enjoy it so much. It's very meaningful to me. And I hope that you will have a wonderful day. And again, if you want to take advantage of that, I wonder if there's something showing up on my screen. I don't know if you're seeing it. But anyway, I want you to take advantage of that discount because it will only last through the end of the summer. So if any of you have been wanting a reading, this is the time to do it, especially with the eclipses coming up. So again, it may take me a few days to respond. And so that's why I'm giving you this discount, is to give you an incentive to be patient with me, okay? And you know, just keep in mind that it may take me a few days to respond and set up your appointment, but I will get to you, okay? So I hope all this was helpful, and I will have another political video out following this one. So have a wonderful time, and I will try to keep in touch with you even when I go up into the mountains. I'm going to try to do some videos using a new camera. So I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.